Hey, I'm Jabin Troth, and this is Grilled and Distilled, a license to distill series where the grill meets the glass, featuring bold barbecue and craft cocktails. Join me as we team up with award-winning chef and culinary anthropologist Claudette Zepeda and renowned bartender and bar consultant Bad Birdy to create unforgettable dishes and drinks powered by Traeger grills and Bulleit whiskey. Ready to see what Claudette and Birdy have in store for us? Let's fire it up.
What's up everyone, I'm Bad Birdy and I've been bartending for the past 10 years all around the world. And today we're going to talk about Traeger and Bulleit bourbon. When it comes to creating cocktails, I'm inspired by all sorts of cultures, by nostalgia, by dishes that my grandparents have made, from Cuban culture, which is my heritage. So all of my cocktails tend to have some sort of food element or technique that a chef would use. So Claudette's gonna start grilling. We're gonna start the day off with a low ABV cocktail and just take it slow and low. We're gonna take our kettle corn infused Bulleit bourbon and pair it with cola and grenadine. So we're gonna take all of our ingredients and set our temperature to 180 degrees on super smoke. The kettle corn is gonna be smoked for 10 minutes and the rest of these ingredients are gonna be smoked for 20 minutes. What I first did was took some kettle corn, smoked it in the Traeger, and then infused that into the bourbon. Most of the ingredients I'm using today, I smoked inside that Traeger to get that smoke element and just create a little more depth in my cocktails.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Hola familia, my name is Claudette Zepeda. I am a border kid chef here in San Diego, California. Welcome to my house. I play a chef on TV and have been cooking for the last 25 years. Over the last 12 years, focusing primarily on the food of my country as a first-generation Mexican-American. My approach to food is always make it as comfortable for you all to make my food at home. I don't try to give you smoke and mirrors. Chefs can really overcomplicate things, and we overcomplicate things for ourselves. So my approach is to make it as home-friendly as possible while staying true to myself. Mexican authenticity is very unique to person. I don't like putting traditional or authentic on any of my food because it's my family's traditions and it is authentic to me.
All right, we're ready for our first pairing. We got a nice welcome cocktail to get your guests started along with an appetizer. So I'm gonna take my cocktail to go and I'm gonna let them explain what they made.
So we're starting off this pairing with a smoked rosemary and ginger mule, and this cocktail is gonna be light, refreshing, and a few spice notes from that fresh ginger. I love a good mule. We took the ginger and the rosemary, smoked it inside of the Traeger, we juiced the ginger, made a syrup out of this, and infused that ginger syrup with that smoked rosemary. Now this cocktail is really refreshing. It's a great way to get your guests started. And you can also serve this cocktail as a non-alcoholic cocktail by just leaving out the bourbon, maybe topping it with more soda water or even tonic.
Bouncing off the cocktail, you know, a wing hates to see me and my family coming. So I mirrored the flavors in the cocktail, basically takeout wing. Bourbon glaze, delicious. In the bourbon chili glaze, I have lemongrass, grated ginger, grated garlic, fish sauce, salt and pepper, and a little bit of lime. I have pre-simmered them in a concoction of a half an onion, a bay leaf, a star anise, and some salt. Just simmered for about 45 minutes to make sure that the fat gets rendered off the skin. Once you put them on the grill, you're gonna crank the grill to 500. Drop them on and begin brushing the glaze on each wing, flipping them at 15-minute intervals 2 times until you get that desired blackened consistency. And what you end up with is that texture that the fried wing at a bar gives you, but with the Traeger, it's even better. You'll get a little bit of where I've been, where I'm at, and where I'm going in all of my dishes. As a border kid, I have the incredible pleasure of having hundreds of human beings that have left fingerprints on my soul, which kind of influences on how I cook. You'll see Asian, you'll see African, you'll see Middle Eastern, because that's who we are in Mexico. We are a cultural quilt that results in a delicious table.
Traveling around the world has not only allowed me to experience different cultures, but really experience what other bartenders were doing on a global scale and bring that back home here and utilize those techniques or ingredients that we might not see so often here in the States.
The best Mexican Chinese food you can get, Chinese food made by Mexican Chinese immigrants, is at the border. In between Tijuana and Mexicali, you can get some of the most delicious Asian food I think I've ever had. I've been to India, I've had really delicious Indian food in Mexico City, Chinese food, Sichuan, Cantonese. Tijuana's where it's at. And growing up in San Diego, but also growing up in Tijuana, having one foot in each country, I've been the benefactor of being an immigrant child because it is incredibly delicious. Anywhere you go, all food has a story, and if it's delicious, even a better story is that.
We're ready for our next course. And with this one, you're gonna start to see the versatility of the Traeger grill. It's not just about low and slow, smoking everything. It also works really well at higher temperatures. So I'm gonna let these rock stars take it away. I'm getting my cocktail and I'm out of here.
So for this next cocktail, we're taking our Bulleit bourbon and pairing it with some smoked grapefruit, honey, and cinnamon. Cocktail is a play on a gold rush. So this cocktail is gonna have bourbon. We took some grapefruits, cinnamon, and honey, smoked them all in the Traeger, and then we made a honey cinnamon syrup, paired that with the grapefruit, and all these flavors coming together are really refreshing, really rich, and that little bit of spice note at the back end with the cinnamon.
And for that pairing, I went with avocado fried rice. You can't miss it when you're in Mexicali. Char siu, Mexican version pork ribs with some shrimp that I went ahead and basically just sauteed on the flat top. Fried rice, peppers, ginger, just delicious, delicious takeout. For the char siu sticky sauce, I used a sugar, salt, 5-spice, white pepper, sesame oil, Shaoxing rice wine, soy sauce, hoisin sauce, molasses, garlic cloves, finely minced, honey, and water. That makes sure that the outside of the rib is nice and sticky as it cooks. On the grill, low and slow, not the way to go. You gotta go 500, crank that, get it nice and caramelized. Then we drop the heat to have it go about 300. So not super low, but just enough to make a tender rib. On the flat top, I sauteed some shrimp along with some bell pepper, garlic, ginger, scallions, some serrano. In the vegetable medley for the fried rice, I love using bell peppers, different kinds, just for their sweetness and their crunch, with some frozen vegetables that are the classic corn, peas, carrots, and green beans. For the rice, I went ahead and sauteed it on the flat top, adding a little bit more sesame oil, some Shaoxing rice wine, some soy sauce, and some sesame oil. Bringing it all home together, I went ahead and added a touch more of spice, a little bit of an avocado slice on top. Everyone can pick whatever piece of protein they want best. And if you really want to be a border kid, a squeeze of fresh lime juice to finish it off is really all you need.
Now, part of the reason I love creating cocktails is because I also love to cook. And using a Traeger at home, you could easily incorporate some of the ingredients you use for cocktails inside of the Traeger.
We love to grill. We love any chance to cook outside, usually some sort of meat. And I personally, I have big kids. My son is 21 and my daughter's 19. And I love a reason to get involved in the kitchen together. That's always been my parenting hack, is how do I get my kids to eat a lot of food that I cook? I get them involved. And grilling, especially on these Traegers, the learning curve's a lot shorter. So my son, he is literally like the keeper of the grills. And I just show up like, you know, rock star mom shows up ready with my ingredients because he already set it up for me. So he is the best sous chef to have, and everything just tastes better when it's grilled, in my opinion.
All right, it's time for our final course. It's time for dessert. How do we follow up chicken wings and avocado fried rice? I have no idea, but thank goodness they do. I'm gonna let them take it away.
So for our final cocktail, we have our Bulleit bourbon that's been infused with kettle corn that's been smoked in the Traeger. We also have a bit of creme de cacao and a chili liqueur to round out all of those sweet notes and give you a little spice. So for this next cocktail, it's going to have some sweeter notes. We took some kettle corn, smoked it in the Traeger, infused that into the bourbon, and paired it with some chili liqueur, some creme de cacao, some citrus, and overall this cocktail is really nice. It has a variety of flavors. It's going to have some sweet notes, and you can pair this as a dessert cocktail if you want to enjoy it that way.
My favorite desserts in the world is Crepas con Cajeta. Kind of a hot toddy riff on the poached pears with some whipped cream and some grilled cinnamon to top. Super simple, but you can impress the heck out of anyone. The Crepas are filled with a Bulleit Bourbon Cajeta, and I just sauteed a couple of pears that I poached lightly in a sort of hot toddy mix. So bourbon, lemon juice, star anise, cinnamon, sugar, and put them all in a pan with a little bit of butter on the flat top. And that Traeger flat top is not just for cooking straight on it. It's a great way to use pans and hold sauces. So I kind of used it for everything that it was supposed to do and more. Top the cajetas with a little bit of whipped cream and some grated grilled cinnamon.
That's a wrap on this episode of Grilled and Distilled. Thanks a lot for watching. Huge thanks to Claudette and Bad Birdy for the amazing food, the amazing cocktails. I wish you were here to try them. They were all fantastic, but here's the good news. We created this series so that you could recreate these cocktails, these dishes at home. So try them, check out the recipes online, and stay tuned for further episodes of Grilled and Distilled. Dog's on the way? You good? Okay.